Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Spotlight with Sahara. I'm Kisud, and today I have with me the Honorable Senator Daniel Rashid, um, the leader of the UNC Youth Arm, and the youngest senator, I believe.
Yes, correct.
Daniel, how are you doing today?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me here with you, Sahara. It's a pleasure. So far, I've looked at some of your episodes, and I've looked at the one with Dr. David Lee, and I
Oh,
was very
yes.
impressed by it. So, thanks for choosing me to be your next host, your next guest on this program.
Well, we're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Now, let me just get into my first question.
Yeah.
You've recently made history as the youngest government senator in Trinidad and Tobago, which is a truly remarkable achievement.
Thank you.
What went through your mind on the day that you were sworn in, and what message do you hope that that sends to other young people across the country?
What went through my mind, Sahara, is if I could do it, anybody could do it. And that was a message that I've been pushing since we were in opposition. Because a lot of young people would ask, how you reach in politics and why you end up there? And I can't do that because them people too big for me. And my answer is always, well, come and meet them. If I could meet them, if I could talk to them, if I could be there, then sure, why can't you? So it was a message of hope. I think that was also the Prime Minister's idea behind putting me there, a young voice in the Senate. So as I stood there reading the vows to enter into Senate, surrounded by people that I know on both sides, I thought to myself, it doesn't matter what side you belong to. I belong to the UNCD government side, and I urge everybody to join with us. But it does not matter which side you belong to. There is a space for every young person in Parliament.
That must have been such a surreal experience, just as how you're describing it, like standing there and realizing that you have just made history. I think that moments like that remind so many young people that age does not limit your impact, like what you just said. Now let's shift gears a little bit. Your leadership in the UNC Youth Arm has inspired many young people, including me. What motivated you to take on such responsibility so early in your life? And how do you balance leading while still growing and learning for yourself?
I'll start with the balance part. The balance part is very difficult.
Yes.
As a young man, 26 now, just got out of school, I became chairman of the youth arm as soon as I got out of my bachelor's degree. Went straight into my master's degree, my MPhil actually. And the problem that I faced was the balancing life, politics, school. And it had to get done. When things had to get done, I got it done. Sometimes my sleep would get deprived, but it's one of those things that if it needs to get done, I'll get it done. Now, joining the youth was a choice that I made after sitting in the youth parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. Right? After sitting in youth parliament, I was chief whip. I was in tune with the politics. I just was not partisan. I didn't have a side. And after I did the youth parliament, I placed second best debater, and I started looking towards the future. Where and why? Where can I go from here? And why don't we see more youth involved in politics? So those are the two questions that I kept asking myself. And one of the answers that struck to me, where do I go from here? If I want to be in parliament, if I want to represent people in the Senate, in the House of Representatives, the pathway is simple, but a lot of young people don't realize how obviously simple it is. They think doing youth work, which is good, Doing youth work is very important for our nation. But they think that is the way to going up into parliament. No, there's two ways to get into the Senate. First way is being political. It's a political appointment by either the prime minister or the advice of the prime minister or the advice of the opposition leader. And the second way is through being chosen by the president as an
Oh.
independent senator. Now, the honor of sitting there came from hard work as leader, as chairman of the National Youth Arm, right? Especially during the elections, I would have worked very closely with the prime minister. I would have worked very closely with the MPs, and the groundwork was a lot of young people dealing with the groundwork. So going out and advertising, singing, and the social medias and all those different things
Mhm.
came from the youth arm, the youth voice of our party.
Mhm.
And no disrespect to the elders, they did way more than the youths could ever do. But the youth also played a very significant role in
I
the
understand
in the
exactly what you mean.
yeah in the election.
It's honestly so inspiring to see someone else take on leadership that early and still keep growing through it like you are yourself. Balancing the weight of responsibility while still staying humble enough to learn, that is no easy feat. I know that myself. Now, education is such a foundation for success. And I know you've often spoken about the importance of learning and self development. Could you share a bit about your own educational journey and how it shaped the person and leader that you've become today?
Sure. So I'll start with secondary school because I think that is one of the most important backgrounds that any young person can have. Uh, the secondary school life is, and this breaks away from conventional thinking. It doesn't matter what school you go to, you once you do your best, that's what matters. I agree with that. But I also agree with the secondary school you go to shapes your mindset because of the environment it creates for you. And I passed for presentation college Chaguanas.
Ooh.
And I went to Pres Chaguanas from Form 1 to Form 6. And I think that really instilled some sort of leadership values in me. Because when you go to a school like Presentation College Chaguanas, one thing is for certain, they want you at the top of anywhere that you go, whether it's in politics, whether it's in a business, anywhere that you go to, the school itself has instilled in you from Form 1 all the way to the top that, hey, listen, you have to dominate whatever field you go into. And that was a mindset that I had. And after graduating Presentation College, I came to UWI. I studied my computer science degree. And then, boom, COVID happened. And I was happy that COVID happened because I wasn't staying up on campus like most of my friends were. I was coming from Sugarlands every day, and that morning traffic is the worst thing you have to face in the morning. And when classes went online, it gave me an opportunity to pursue another degree. I decided. Now, while computer science was something that I was very good at, and some may say passionate about. My real passion lied in culinary arts and cooking.
Ooh.
So I did a associate's degree in culinary management while I was doing my degree here at UB in computer science. And the only reason and the only way I could have done that is because of COVID. COVID allowed me a little bit more flexibility to be here, there, online. And when I had to go into the kitchen, I would have gone in and kind of still catch up on my work because we're online and I can do online from anywhere. So that was the culinary journey. That was the computer science journey. And as soon as I graduated my bachelor's degree, I came into UE as a TA, and now I'm teaching 3, 4 courses uh, in business information systems and object-oriented programming. These are skills I would have learned in UE, outside of UE, because I own a couple of businesses outside of UE, and jumped into my MPhil degree, which is the postdoctoral degree, which is right before you do your PhD, you do a MPhil degree. Um, of course, the aim is to be known as Dr. Daniel Rashid, and soon to be Senator Dr. Daniel Rashid.
Yeah.
So, although the titles don't mean anything to me, it it's a glimpse of hope for young people that, hey, he's 26, he can do this, and some of my students are older than me, and the thing is sometimes they feel a little bit, and there's something that we must stop doing. They start to compare themselves to me and my accomplishments and their accomplishments. Then some of them 28 and say they still sit down here in UV, they don't know. And I have to keep encouraging them. Hey, don't look at my timeline. Look at my hard work. You also have to put in hard work as well. Look at the hard work, not the timeline. Because the moment you start the hard work and you have your goal, the time it will pass, and you will get to where you're going. But if you start comparing, he did this at this age and he did this at this age, you're gonna start feeling a little less than, and it will stifle your growth. Everybody grows at different spaces and different speeds and times. So comparing, especially for my students, comparing my age to your age and realizing what I accomplished in this time frame versus what it doesn't it doesn't change anything. Is now taking that information and realizing what goals you have and how to push forward with the goals at, it doesn't matter what age you're at. So that's the educational journey I've been on. Um, when I was young, uh, I lived 7 years in Dubai. But this is why I didn't start at primary school level, because I spent a lot of my primary school time out of the country,
Oh.
and that also kind of developed my mindset a lot. Because when you travel, you see things and you hear things, and it opens your mindset. I lived in a predominantly Muslim country with a lot of different stricter laws, where my mom and my dad could not walk and hold hands together. That's just their law, and we respected their law, we respected everything. But the education system was completely different, and what they deemed important was stuff like wildlife preservation and stuff like that, as compared to what we would have been taught here in Trinidad. So, yeah, that's my educational journey.
I think everybody can deal with the can have experience on the pressure of comparing.
Yeah.
And I completely agree with what you said. But I would have never guessed that you had did you say it was a degree? A degree in culinary?
Associates degree in culinary.
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, I like to cook. I like to cook, I like to bake, I like to eat.
Yes, but besides that, I think that is such a refreshing perspective on education, because it's true. Learning does not stop when you leave the classroom. It's an ongoing process. And hearing how it shaped your journey really drives home how powerful that mindset is.
Yes.
Now, speaking of those early experiences, when you think back to your very first public speech or debate, what was that experience like for you? Were you nervous, or did you build the confidence and skill that we now see when you speak in the Senate?
When I first started to speak publicly, I was terrible.
Oh,
I was really bad. Because when I was younger, I had problems reading and speaking from the reading. Now I could read and understand what's on the paper, but to read a speech, I couldn't do that for nothing. And my I had one English teacher from Form 1 all the way up to Form 5, right? Then switch. She worked very closely with me. Um, And she basically helped me through. She was trained in dyslexia training,
Oh.
and so she would have helped me. You know, in that scenario when you have to stand up in class and read, and as you start to read, you start to mumble, and everybody in class cracking up, man, laugh, laugh, laugh. Sometimes I cracking up myself because I can't believe that's what I
Yeah.
see in something, and my mouth is saying something else.
Mhm.
And she really worked with me. She used to pull me aside and do
Mhm.
like block style
Mhm.
reading, and it was really cool. The kind of work she would have done with me because of her training with dyslexic people,
Mhm.
and that really helped me with the reading. But the confidence is something completely different. You can read fluently and not have confidence.
Mhm.
Um, Confidence comes from knowing who you are,
Mhm.
knowing who you're speaking to, um, accepting that you may say some wrong things.
Mhm.
For example, I was doing a little training session with the youth parliaments sometime last week, um, and I was telling them if they're doing a session on cyberbullying,
Mhm.
so their debate is on cyberbullying, and they were talking about what about if you say blick instead of brick? I said, well, you said it already. Confidence is moving forward from that. You could turn it into a little humor. Blick by blick, brick by brick, same thing.
Mhm.
And the way you move forward is the confidence. And that confidence only comes from experience in speaking. It
Mhm.
doesn't come from nobody's born with it. The more you speak is the more you gain confidence in speaking.
Mhm.
And so that's how I develop confidence. I speak to a class. My class is here like 500 students big.
Mhm.
So I speak to a lot of people all the time, every day. There's not a single day that I don't speak to people.
Mhm.
So that's where the confidence
Mhm.
comes from.
I totally agree. As a talk show host, I think everybody has those moments of not really self doubt, but I don't want to call it low self esteem, but I think that's the right word. But that's actually really encouraging to hear, especially for anyone who's ever frozen up in front of presentations, because I know I definitely
Yeah.
have. Now, this was a fun little twist. This is the halftime icebreaker where we get to see the fun side of our interview.
Okay.
Mhm. So let's say for a day you weren't a senator.
Okay.
If you could pick any superhero power, what would it be, and which problem would you fix Trinidad and Tobago using it?
That's a hard question. If I was a senator
Mhm.
and I can choose any superhero
Mhm. Any superhero power.
power, okay, any superpower, what would it be? I would choose the ability to freeze time.
Mm, honestly, I didn't think of that one.
Yeah. So I'll choose the ability to freeze time.
Mhm.
Um, how would I fix, or what problems would I fix? Um, See, never have a. Uh,
Like if you're just about to see somebody getting robbed, you could freeze and like completely put them in the other direction.
yeah, changing time space. Yeah,
Mhm.
I guess so. I have not witnessed a robbery, so but so many mistakes that we wish we could go back
Mhm.
and stop, or we're in the middle of making a mistake and we would like to stop it.
Mhm.
That's a nice way of I'm sure yourself, myself, the Prime Minister, in the middle of saying something, I wish that didn't just pop out my mouth.
I that is actually a great answer. I would not have thought of that one.
Yeah.
I was thinking of something like strength,
Strength?
maybe.
Hmm. Oh, I'll do. I don't like. I don't think violence is the key to answer. So,
Hmm.
is the key to any solving any problem.
Hmm.
But maybe strength is important.
Hmm.
Maybe we would need excavators again and pick up
But
everything and go on my
yeah,
shoulder with
sure.
it.
But like I said, that is such a great answer, and I can totally picture it now. Senator by day, superhero by night. I think that that's the kind of origin story that Trinidad and Tobago would proudly claim, but seriously, it's a fun reminder that leadership can take many forms, capes and time freezing optional. Now, back to the serious side of things, you are known for your bold and passionate Senate contributions. How do you prepare mentally and emotionally before delivering such impactful speeches, especially knowing that the whole nation is watching?
I was very prepared. I listen. I listen a lot. So before my budget contribution, I'm saying, listen, I going in there and I made a promise that I'm always going to speak for the youth inside of there. So for me, listening comes in two stages: listening to everything and then filtering out what impacts the youth the most. Right? So the parliament hosted the budget talks, youth budget talks, and I listened to that. Um, I began going on social media and listening on TikTok. TikTok is my pastime pleasure. I just scroll, 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 listen, scroll.
Honestly, me too.
Yeah. So I was on TikTok listening because we had about 2 weeks, a week before the Monday before the budget would have read. So we had about a week to really get people's thoughts and stuff like that. So I was listening then, and I was trying to figure out. And this is basically how I prepared. While looking and reading at the budget books, I was thinking, what would a young person want me to see? And what wasn't said already? Because in the Senate, you can't just go and repeat what others have said. There's a standing order against that. So what would young people, what would my brother, my students, what would they want me to see? And to me, it was a all because I speak to them all the time, and I eat and laugh and line with them. What the constant theme is, we want hope. We want some sort of hope. We know it's not okay now, but tell us it'll be okay soon. I mean it. And so that's how I go about preparing. Looking at what we have now, it may not be the best. Our government is doing amazing with what they have. The very little that they were left with and that they have is what our government have to work with. Um, and maybe some people may not like the budget. Some people may think it's an amazing budget. I thought it was a good budget. But how do we take our feelings, our thoughts about the budget and turn it into a message of hope for young people? Hope that one day you'll own your own house. For a young man like myself, owning my own house is nearly impossible because of the current housing market that we have. Um, things like going onto the field, football, cricket, and realizing that our community fields, our spaces that we play sports in are all deteriorated because of because it's been neglected for 10 years. But the constant assurance of the ministers that hey, we're gonna fix this, we're gonna fix that, and seeing the items in the budget that they are actually gonna fix it is the only way that I can give hope, speaking hope, sharing hope. And at the end of every budget contribution, I speak directly to after speaking about the problems and about the promises and the issues and stuff like that, I speak directly to the youth. It's always your time now. I don't believe that the youth is the future. I believe that the youth is now. Our time is now. Our time is not in the future. So that's basically how I prepare. Listen, talk, and give hope.
Honestly, that is such a powerful mindset, and it really takes to strength. Sorry, it really takes strength to channel that pressure into passion instead of panic, especially when all eyes are on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, let's move to another area that I've been really excited to talk about. You've become a mentor to so many youths in this nation. Now, tell us, why is mentorship important to you, and how can older youth become positive role models for the next generation?
Okay. Uh, so it never feels like I'm a mentor,
Mm,
right? It always feels like, for me,
mhm,
you're my friend. I'm just telling you my thoughts, how I would go about it, the best way that I think possible. So it doesn't feel like I'm a mentor. But it is important for mentorship because I wouldn't be here today without the mentorship of a couple people.
mhm,
One of them definitely being the Prime Minister, who has taken a keen role into my life and into how I grew, what I do, what I see, where even simple interview like this, I would have reached out there and say, hey, I want to have an interview with Sahara, and this is what I um, may say, and she would give her advice.
mhm,
When I became chairman of the youth, she the same night she announced me, she pulled me aside and she said, "Do nothing without advice,"
mhm,
and that's always you, inside politics, outside politics. That's what I've been rolling with because I know I don't know everything,
mhm,
and it takes a lot for somebody to realize that they don't know everything.
mhm,
Nobody knows everything. If somebody tells you they know everything, they lie. Nobody knows everything. And if you don't know everything,
mhm,
if you don't know about a certain topic, about a certain what you're gonna do, what you're gonna say,
mhm,
get advice, ask. And as you do that, you realize, hey, this person knows what they're talking about. I look up to this person. This could be a mentor to me.
mhm,
And then eventually, after a couple of times of going to that person with questions, with asking for help, you realize, this is my go-to person. This
mhm,
is my mentor. You never really think of the person as your mentor until later down.
mhm,
But you realize that this is your go-to person and you want to keep asking them because they give sound advice. You trust their advice,
mhm,
and that's very important. Um, a lot of young people have a problem with trusting advice from one politicians, from two
mhm,
people who are older than them, because they have the feeling your time was different, my
mhm,
time different now. But the reality of it is that looking at someone and getting advice from them is rooted in trust.
mhm,
Is really rooted in trust. You can't accept advice from people you wouldn't
trust.
yeah, you wouldn't trust them.
Mm,
You wouldn't accept advice from a thief, would you?
no.
Or you wouldn't from a liar, you wouldn't.
Mhm,
So you really have to trust the person.
mhm,
And for older people, please make it your mission to ensure that young people can trust you.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. When you said that nobody knows everything, I know that all moms watching this are just going to sigh in disbelief because they always pull the "I'm your mother, I know everything" card. But honestly, that is such a beautiful way to look at mentorship, and it really is about passing the torch while lighting the path for someone else.
Yeah.
Now, this next question dives into something that every leader faces. Every journey includes setbacks. We know this.
Yes.
Can you share one challenge you faced as a young leader and how you overcame it? especially when others may have doubted your ability because of your age?
A setback is a hard one to hit. I'll tell you why it's hard for me. It's hard because I'm determined.
Mm,
So I don't see setbacks as setbacks. I see them as, hey, I need to work around this, move around
mhm,
it fast. So out of politics now, we're talking about my personal life, a business that um, I've recently started with a colleague of mine
mm.
in the field of AI.
Ooh,
And this business has taken us about a year and a half to get off the ground.
mm,
Simple reason, because one, it was impossible to do. We had this grand idea, and at the time the technology felt non-existent.
mhm,
And my business partner was telling me, we need to move on to the next business, it's not worth
mm,
it. And I said to him, give me 2 weeks. And I spent every night searching workarounds for it
mm,
until I found one. And you could say that's a setback. I didn't see it as a setback. I saw it as defying the odds. Even
mm,
if for me the technology was not there,
mm,
I worked around it. And then after that, figuring out that the technology wasn't there and we found a way around it, then we had a problem. The way around it used some American method or some method that we don't have access to here,
mm,
right? And so I had to now try, and this is what took the year and a half. Try to figure out how to connect two things without using the American method. And I didn't know how to do it.
mm,
All the knowledge I had in computer science and in tech, I still don't know how to do it. But
mhm,
go back to the last question. I went around looking for somebody that I could trust in the field,
mhm,
and I started asking, "Hey, how to do this?" Because again, I said, I don't know how to do it.
mhm,
Somebody must know how to do it. Let me find somebody who know how to do it, and that is how I deal with setbacks.
mhm,
I watch it. I say, we're gonna work around you. If the workaround works, it works. If it doesn't work, we ask somebody how to deal with it. And that's my
mhm,
plan. That's how I've been tackling setbacks.
mm. And that just brings it back to the advice. People, please do not be scared to ask for advice.
No, don't be.
Honestly, I wouldn't be here if I didn't ask for advice. I don't think anybody would get to where they are if they didn't ask a mentor or some kind of authority figure for advice.
Yeah.
And thank you for being so honest about that because that is incredibly relatable. Because so many young people know what it feels like to be doubted just because of their age. Hearing how you turn that into motivation, though, into motivation rather than discouragement, is so valuable. And I love your perspective on setbacks. Now, this one's something that I think every young viewer will connect with. What is the biggest misconception adults have about today's youth, and how can young people prove that they are ready to lead?
Biggest misconception that adults have about youth is maybe, well, let me think about that.
Mhm.
I'll say that the biggest misconception is that young people today want everything easy.
Hmm. Especially because everything is so accessible.
Yeah, everything is accessible and everything is instant these
Mhm.
days. I don't think that we want everything easy, is that we're trying to utilize the resources that we have. And if
Mhm.
everything is instant, then sometimes I want something and I
Mhm.
want it now.
Like we are accustomed to having everything
Yeah.
so instantly.
Simple things like meals.
Mm-hmm.
We don't receive. The only meals I get is from the bank. As in my go in my mailbox and take out mail. The only mail I get is from my bank.
Like physical mail.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is a text, is an email,
Yeah.
and that's the instant, instant.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean that I want things easy.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that I don't want to work hard for what I have. Right? It is a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the other part of the question?
Um, how do you think that young people can prove that they are ready to lead?
I think young people have already proven that they're ready to lead.
Hmm.
I don't think that. I think we need to continue working. We have so many young people in NGOs, in youth spaces, heading our worlds. Um, I know France would have elected a very young prime minister. Um, JD Vance is a young U.S. Vice president.
And another example from a previous interview that I've done, I think it was the second one, Chris Ambidesi from our very own Trinidad and Tobago, she was the first person at 17 years old to get accepted into the Yale Young Global Scholars. Sorry, Yale Young Global Scholars Program. That is a tongue twister. Yes, and she's from our very own country.
Yeah. So I think young people are ready to lead and they have already proven.
Mm-hmm.
I think all they need now is opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Opportunity to get in there and lead.
Mm-hmm.
I think this government will provide the opportunity.
Mm-hmm. I love that because it's true. Often, adults often misjudge youth energy as inexperience,
Yeah.
when really it's innovation. I think that young people today are showing that leadership isn't about age, it's about action. And clearly, your journey is proof that we can be both young and capable at the same
Yes.
time. Speaking of youth empowerment, this one might spark some big ideas. You've spoken passionately about youth development and opportunity. If you could introduce one new policy or national project focused on young people, what would it be and why?
So I'm not going to introduce a policy.
Okay.
Policies are created by cabinet. I'm not a member of cabinet. But I'll talk about um, a proposed policy that's in our manifesto
Mm.
that is public knowledge.
Mm.
That is in our youth development manifesto under section 5. It talks about the introduction of a National Youth Senate Advisory Council
Oh, there's the advice again.
and a National Youth Cabinet. So it's something that has not been brought to cabinet. It's not a policy, official policy yet, but it's in our manifesto, and I am sure within this 5 years it will be implemented. That is the National Youth Senate Advisory Council and National Cabinet, Youth Cabinet.
Yeah, it just keeps coming back.
Mhm.
That sounds like such a meaningful initiative, and it's exactly the kind of forward thinking project that could make a real difference.
Yes.
Now, let's bring it back to something a little more personal.
Okay.
When you talk about public service, what does that really mean to you? How do you keep integrity, humility, and service at the center of your leadership?
Integrity, humility, and service. I think those are the three watchwords for every public servant that they should follow. Public service to me is because I love people
Mm.
and I love my country and I love helping people and dealing with people and listening to people and talking to people. I think for me, public service is just about that, helping as many people as I can. helping the public.
Mm.
Keeping integrity, keeping humility. Humility is for me number one. I ain't reach nowhere by having my nose up in the air, and I will continue to not reach anywhere by having my nose up in the air.
Mm.
I think it is the people who put us in power.
Mm.
It is the people who take us out. We owe our all to these people.
Mm.
That's just my personal opinion.
Mm.
And I think to live, eat, sleep, laugh
Mm.
with these people, make them make yourself remember that you are still a human being.
Mhm.
You live next to your neighbor, hey, say hello.
Mm.
One and have a Coke with them,
Mm.
eat a KFC with them. I like KFC, sorry. um,
Me too, honestly.
but you're not better than anybody.
Mm.
I am not better than anybody.
Mm.
I may be different, but I'm not better.
Mm.
And my mom instilled that in me at a very young age that you're not better than nobody, but you're different.
Mhm.
Keep that in mind. Don't act like if you're better than anybody. And I think that's important to keep the humility. We're all different.
Mhm.
You have a different purpose than I do. I have a different purpose. In this simple show, you're the host and the guest. Our rules are different.
Mhm.
But you're not better than me, I'm not better than you.
Mhm.
We're equal. And the more people realize that they're equal, is the easier life will be here on earth.
Mhm.
That's how I keep humility. Integrity is important because I think you are judged by the public and you are judged by God based on the right and the wrongs you do in this life.
Ethical values.
Yeah. And I think for me, I believe that the right is the right.
Mhm.
So I need to always do the right.
Mhm.
Integrity is not just doing good, but being seen doing good. You must
Mhm.
doing good even when nobody is there, but
Mhm.
ensuring that what's in your heart is good. And that is how you keep it. What I notice is that a lot of people think the moment you step into public life,
Mhm.
things become, especially in the integrity line, becomes obscure. So, for example, this same office, somebody came to me about a month ago, 2 months ago, when we were on recess, when Parliament was on
Mhm.
recess. Say, hey, I'm looking for a contract, boy. I'm looking for a contract. I could get $1 million for this contract. Ask the person to leave the office because
Mhm.
to me, that's not in me. It's not it's not something that I would encourage. So, integrity is all about the heart to me.
Mhm.
It's all about the heart.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I agree. And that is such an honest take on leadership. And it's true, we are all equals. I think that people sometimes forget that public service isn't just about policies and speeches, it's about people.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's why it's public service.
Yeah.
The way that you tie integrity and humility into your role really shows that leadership isn't about being above others, but being among them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And remember that part in the last question where you said that I was the host and you were the guest? Well, that is about to change because I could not resist asking this question. If you could host Spotlight with Sahara Ramki soon and I were the guest, what's one question that you would ask me and what would you hope my answer would be?
Okay. That's a good question.
Mm-hmm. It's like a
Oh,
second
you
half
catch me
time
off
extra.
guard with that one. I would I would ask you, hmm, how old are you?
I am,
That's not the question I'll ask you. Eh?
I am
You're
12
12,
and a half, I'd say.
12 and a half. Good. Okay, I would ask you,
On the brink of 13.
By the time you're 20,
Mhm.
what is one major goal you would like to have been accomplished
Mhm.
in your life? And how I hope you would answer it is I hope firstly you start off with education and finish in education. And secondly, while you're doing your education, I would hope that you would have some sort of side activity that would
Mhm.
ever really push this goal.
Mhm.
Because keeping that educated, a lot of people ask me, should I do Form 6? I'm feeling to drop out. I think you should do Form 6. I think you should do a degree. I fully believe in the education system,
Mhm. Me too.
right? But being a bookworm alone doesn't cut it.
Mhm.
You have to be all rounded, and you have to join a club. If it's photography you like, you join a club,
Mhm.
a photography club. You continue your if it's one day you wanna be a news anchor on TTT, you continue with your hosting,
Mhm.
and you continue to build this project. I actually hope that you continue to build this project.
Yes, I
You don't
am.
stop.
When you said that you thought my first goal should be to finish my education, my answer was actually going to be that a goal I wish to complete is to attend Harvard Law.
Yes,
Um,
I think that's definitely possible and doable.
mhm.
It requires determination and hard work,
Mhm.
but there is never doubt that, and there should never be a doubt in your mind that you can do it. And that's how I go through life. There's no no's.
Mhm.
Harvard
Never
can't
say
tell me
never.
no.
Mhm.
I will work hard and get into Harvard. They'll
Mhm.
be honored to have me in Harvard.
Yes.
And that's how I think every young person should think.
Mhm. And as for the side benefit, I am into writing. I am
Oh,
writing a book, and I hope to continue with that.
we'll talk more about that off there.
Yeah. Okay. That that was a good answer. I will admit that turning the tables does sound a little intimidating, but I love that. It shows that you're just as curious about hearing other stories as you are about sharing your own.
Yes.
Maybe we might just make that switch happen one day. Maybe.
Sure.
Senator Rashid, it has been such a pleasure having you here on Spotlight with Sahara Ramkisoon. Your journey shows that leadership isn't just about titles, it's about using your voice and purpose to make a real change. Thank you for not just inspiring young people, but to everyone, everyone watching, to lead with courage and conviction. This has been Spotlight with Sahara Ramkisoon, along with Senator Daniel Rashid. Tune into the next episode in the near future. Stay curious, stay courageous, and stay in the spotlight. Oh, yeah, sorry. And we have a little end of the interview token. Um, just to say thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Okay.
so much. Okay, bye.
Bye.
See you in the next one.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel Rashid. I'm a temporary government senator, and I have just been interviewed by Sahara on Spotlight with Sahara Ramkisoon. Look out for that next episode.